What is up, skate rats? You're gonna have to deal with me shirtless for right now, and I'll show you why in a second because it's kind of infuriating. But we're about to start on the painting. So the floor is completely done. It took a lot more screws than I thought, which is not the end of the world. And it's a very flexible material. It just took quite a bit. Wow, the wind is strong right now. It took quite a bit to get it pinned down. Now, speaking of the wind, why am I shirtless? Well, I bought an air freshener in here in the wintertime just because it smelled a little dusty in here. And I completely forgot about it. I don't even know where it was in here. It froze and I stuck it to the side. I left the door open to run off to grab some paint, and the wind blew. And this is what happened. The only thing I kind of have to clean it up is my shirt, and I've been able to keep it perfectly dry in here, as you can see, except that. So I'm gonna start down there. Now I did already mask off the metal. Most likely my hands shake quite a bit. So anytime I'm painting, I'll paint down the edge and then twitch and touch the wall. I'm not gonna care about that too much because I am on a time crunch. So we're gonna jump into painting, and then I'm gonna explain why I'm in a time crunch and the kind of cool side quest I got going on tomorrow. So this is kind of the concept I have going on here, where it's gonna be kind of like a brick look on the outside. Now, it's not gonna just be 3 colors because that's all the dry erase markers I have open right now is 3 colors. But I want to do like a brick on the outside, kind of signifying like the railing of sorts, and then the cobblestone in the middle. It may just look like a walkway because it is such a 2D flat image that there's really not going to be any 3D effect or shading to show the difference between like a railing and the flat. But either way, I hope it looks cool. So, side quest is over. I was supposed to explain it. I was actually going to film clips throughout the day. That didn't happen. So at the end of this video, don't click away if you're interested in vintage arcade games, because I picked up a really cool Western shooter, and I'll explain more about that later on. But the reason I didn't film anything is because it was supposed to be a 10-hour round trip to go pick up this arcade machine. And Pennsylvania decided to just close like 10 miles of highway for road construction, like the entire highway, not one lane, and it forced me to take a detour. The detour was 3 hours. So I've been on the road for 13 hours today, and I'm kind of tired and burnt out. So I'm just going to jump into painting, and then, like I said, at the end of this video, I'll show off the arcade machine once it's all set up. So based off the design, the next step in the process is going to be the red on the bricks. Now I went with a darker red. This is claret wine. Which happens to be like a nice color. I like red wine colors, but now I need to paint them between the 2 obstacles. So let's do that. So I got all my measurements taken care of, or at least the rough ones. So I'm 18 inches from the wall to there, 18 inches out from the coping, or the metal on the bottom to there, and then cuts over to here. Now, this does not need to be specific. Today, I just need to make sure it's like 3 or 4 inches wide of paint so that tomorrow when I mask it off, that can be a more crisp, clean line. I have this same pattern on the other side, so let's paint. I think that's the best it's gonna get. You can tell that's a lot darker than that. It's not the end of the world. And honestly, just because the black shows through doesn't mean it's gonna look terrible, right? But it's been a while since I've gone through like 100% can of paint, especially on 2 lines. But as far as we're going tonight, no matter what, I'm out of paint. Tomorrow I'm gonna come back in and mask this off. Then I got one more round of spray painting before I can start painting in the cobblestone look, kind of like that. Last night we got the red down. Now I need to mask it off. I will say though, for it being a clarinet wine, I don't know, a dark red, it definitely came out a lot more like crimson pink, which I guess isn't the end of the world, but definitely not as dark as I thought. So I'll show you that quick, and I'm going to jump right into masking. It is midnight, so I don't want to be in here over like 30 minutes. I'm trying to get done with this project as fast as I can. I'm trying to put in as little effort as I can, because once again, I don't know if I'm going to like this floor. It's an experiment, so I don't want to spend an insane amount of time on it, but I do want to give it a chance. But we're going to mask it off to get those pathways done, and then we're going to paint some wispy lines. So this is the color on the bottle, and you can already see it, but that is the color on the floor. It's not a bad color, it's just definitely not that color.
So on this side, I took the time to line up all the corners, and then I remembered I don't have to do that at all, because this is all about the inside, not the outside, which I'll obviously have to touch the black up to it, but that's tomorrow night. Right now, I'm just going to paint some wispy lines. Confused what I mean by wispy lines, that is all the spaces in between the little like cobblestone looking things. So as long as I paint the lines thick enough and I put down a thin enough masking tape, then everything works out fine and I just paint pretty much geometric shapes. Okay, so shows up way better than the dark red did for sure, but I am done for tonight. I still have some left of that gray, so who knows, that might become a future project. Maybe if I replace the floor. You know, I'm not giving it a chance yet. I feel like I'm already hating on it, and I don't know, I gotta skate, I gotta shred it first. But tomorrow we're gonna come in, we're gonna mask off all of these lines, and then I'm good to start painting. I have 22 different colors of acrylic. Some are kind of pinky, and I'm not a huge fan of them, but I have a lot to choose from, so we're gonna paint all of this then.
Like editing this video together is going to be a treat. The past few nights I've been very tired and I've had very, very little time to get this done. That side quest of mine took a day and a half out of the week and a half I'm taking off, and realizing that the paint's gonna take like 5 or 6 days kinda put me on a time crunch for all of this. But last night we got those lines painted down. Tonight we are going to be doing all the acrylic paint for that cobblestone look. So it's 1:30 in the morning. I'm gonna go to bed real quick. I don't like that yellow. It didn't darken up. It's darker on the bottle. It's the only color on the entire color scheme I really don't like. I mean, the browns are browns. Who really likes brown? But I don't like that yellow. But I'm going to bed. I'll see you tomorrow where we're going to tackle the rest of the black and the white spacing of the brick. Well, I think I'm stocked up on acrylic paint for a little while, which is not a bad thing. On the other projects, I was running out and mixing colors in a random frantic panic. This time I ended up with quite a bit left, so I guess that's a good thing. And it wasn't that expensive. But we're going to start touching up the black now. Black touched up with that overspray of the red. In one of the packages of acrylics I bought, it's called Vintage White, so that's just what I'm going with instead of mixing my own white up. Because I didn't want something that was super bright anyway. This seems to be, I don't know, in between an eggshell and a bright white. But now I need to remove all the masking tape and paint these white lines without touching the black, so that might be a bit of a challenge. Well, it definitely looks more like a little walkway than a bridge, but I kind of figured that with it being a 2D image. But I am done for tonight. I did end up painting some more overspray on the floor. There's probably still some left. I try not to spray paint in here too much anymore because doing all this stuff just throws paint on everything, and it's kind of infuriating. I think I've used that word a few times this video. Anyway, though, tonight is the last night for painting. Tomorrow we clear coat the acrylic, and that is it. Once that's dry, we're good to actually test out this material. To be honest, I've been walking around in here barefoot mostly, just so I don't get paint on my socks and stuff like that. But it reminds me quite a bit like asphalt, like brand new asphalt. So I got a feeling that I'm not going to necessarily love the floor, but it's going to give me more of a street feel, having a little bit more grip versus a skate park. We all know skate parks are usually very slippery, and the streets usually aren't that forgiving. But I will see you guys tomorrow for the last day of taking care of this pathway. Well, I came in here earlier and I finished all the clear coating, which means the floor is done. I didn't film it because I had like 5 minutes to get it done. My brother's in from LA, and it's been a long time since he's been in Pennsylvania, so he's only here for a few days. We went to dinner, etc. But let's see how it came out. Well, it's definitely more a walkway than a bridge, but isn't a walkway just a bridge, just without height? I don't know. Stupid thoughts when it's midnight. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. After the little end credits, I'm going to show off that arcade machine I bought, which, to be honest, I have definitely put at least 100 nickels through already, It is so much fun and so challenging and so difficult. And you get so bummed out when you're out of your 10 shots because you want to just keep going. One day I might be good at it. Have a great day and keep pushing forward, guys. We are growing every day. I'm at 879 subscribers at this moment. And last year I was only in the 400s. So that's double in the past year that I've done in the past previous 8 years. So thank you guys so much for helping out. Have a great day. See you guys next time.
Life can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you